Happy Saturday, South Georgia. I'm Mackenzie Blaze, and while I've had the pleasure of being indoors, out of the rain and the elements all weekend long, our fearless sports director, Aaron Meaux, hasn't had that luxury, but he's been able to watch some incredible baseball over the last 2 days. We're going to go to him live. He's in Statesboro right now. The GIAA state championships for baseball just wrapped up. Aaron, we are officially done with high school sports for this year. First of all, how are you feeling?
It's a little different than yesterday out here. Today I have my towel in my hand because I've been sweating like crazy. The heat is blistering. It was hot early yesterday, and then it just downpoured. It was a torrential downpour. The equipment got wet, we got wet, and then we got sent home needing extra baseball here on a Saturday. It was a game, a day full of ups and downs for both CCA, for Valwood, and Deerfield. But nonetheless, it was a great day for baseball, and we crowned a couple of champions here in South Georgia.
Valwood game. Just a crazy sequence of events you mentioned with the weather, but let's start with game one. Deerfield loses 3-0. Valwood shuts them out. What was the difference maker in that game?
Really, the difference was Asher Wells. I mean, the sophomore put on an absolute display on the mound. You're talking a kid that pitched in this big moment in 8th grade, showed back up here his sophomore season and pitched to Jim. He had 9 strikeouts in the game. His command of his fastball, his ability to throw the off speed for strikes really stood out, and Deerfield just couldn't find it at the plate. I believe they only had a few hits. The Valwood team they played clean baseball, and they were able to get the job done. It wasn't much action in game one. A few timely hits for the Valiants, and ultimately coming away with that 3-0 victory to kind of give them the jump start in the series.
Yeah, and then game two, I mean, I was following along on Game Changer. It looked like it was about to be over, bottom of the 6th. I was like, okay, Valwood's got this. All of a sudden, what happened with Deerfield? I mean, their bats just woke up?
You know, for 3/4 of that game, Josh Skinner was pitching well. He was in the zone. And then Deerfield, they got a couple of runs in the 5th, made it 7-2. Valwood got one back in the 6th. They made it 7-2. And then in the bottom of the 6th inning, it was Deerfield's bats woke up. There was a few mistakes by the Valiants on defense that allowed some more runs to come in, ultimately chasing Skinner out of the game, and they had to go to the pen, and it kind of just fell apart. And then with runners on 1st and 3rd, 2 outs in the game stopped. Everybody's wondering what's going on. There's no rain on the field. There's a lightning delay, and ultimately leading to the game being canceled. About 10 minutes later, it started pouring down. They were hoping to get it in. It didn't come to fruition, and they had to return here at 10 a.m. to finish the game. And then that's when, excuse my French, but all broke loose, because we're walking into the stadium, 1st and 3rd, 2 outs, and a ball's hit to right field. It's misplayed by the right fielder, unable to catch it. Both runs for Deerfield score. They take the lead, and then the Valiants answer right back with 2 more of their own in the top of the 7th, and really baseball execution to its finest. It was a leadoff single by Josh Skinner. It was a walk by Asher Wells, so 1st and 2nd. A sacrifice bunt makes it 2nd and 3rd, and then Jaden Thomas comes up and handles business and gets a single up the middle for the go-ahead score. So ultimately, it was a wild finish. Both teams battled to the end. You have to give your hats off to Deerfield, but you also have to give your hats off to Valwood for not giving in and ultimately coming away with the victory.
Yeah, I mean, Valwood's first state title for the program, I mean, that's huge. But do you think that if the rain delay hadn't happened, we'd be looking at a different outcome? Might we be talking about a game 3 right now? I mean, did the delay kind of take Deerfield, take all their wind out of their sails?
I thought originally that was my mindset is, man, they're going to lose a little bit of momentum, but we didn't see that. They came right out of the gates today and had the ball to right field that allowed them to take the lead. So we can't use that as the excuse or the reason why. They had the lead going into the bottom or top of the 7th. Ultimately, they just couldn't finish the job. And, you know, you work so hard to get back in the game, to give yourself a chance to win it, and they just weren't able to close the deal. I do have to correct myself. It's Braden Thomas, not Jaden Thomas. I got a lot of names going through my head right now, but Braden Thomas coming up with that big hit for Valwood really sealed the deal and kind of gave the momentum back to the Valiants. They were able to go 1-2 to get 2 outs early, runners on 1st and 2nd in the bottom of the 7th, and Deerfield just couldn't get the extra one. Fly ball to left field ended the game and gave Coach Shipman his first state championship as a Valiant, and also the program's first state championship, which was really cool.
I mean, really just a great game overall, and again, congratulations to the Valiants. I want to talk about who you think stood out the most on this Valiants roster this game. I'm looking at Game Changer right now. Powell had he was 3 for 3 at the plate, 2 ribbies. I mean, is he your MVP for this game?
Daiwan swung the bat well in this game after struggling in game one. The MVP, it's hard really to spread it out. Like, there was so many guys that made key plays in key moments. Number one, being able to jump to a 7-2 lead was big for them, but also ultimately being able to finish the job. You have to give a lot of credit to the man that sealed the deal, right? Braden Thomas comes up, 1 out, bottom of the lineup. He's sitting there in the 9-hole with the leadoff spot coming up. Pitchers are going to come at you. Fastball, drives up the middle, and the game-winning run ultimately comes across the plate. So I don't know if I can pinpoint one. I thought it was a team collective effort throughout the series, both on the pitching side, the defense side, and at the plate. They swung it really well, and as a result, they're bringing home a state championship back to Hayhira.
Yeah, and one of our other squads also bringing home a state championship. Really, in my opinion, there was never a doubt. CCA Patriot, they go back to back. Those games didn't get rained out, and just talk about really, you got to watch Blake Bryant last time on the mound as a Patriot. Start with that. How special was that?
Extremely special. Yes, the weather didn't affect CCA because they won so quickly. Like, they just mowed down DEA. But watching Blake's final start, you could see the emotion that he had. He was sitting 94 pretty much the most of the game. And then in that last inning, the 7th inning, he ramped it up. He threw 5 straight pitches at 96 miles an hour. He was looking at the scoreboard every time, checking how fast the radar gun was showing. And you could tell he wanted to continue to increase that as he finished his career as a Patriot. But what he's meant to this program, it's special. It means a lot to the community. The people in the community have spoken highly about him. Just his demeanor, what he's meaning to their baseball program and the future of CCA baseball. I can't say enough about his performance this last series, and ultimately, again, it showed why with his performance that he had.
I mean, it's just been, I agree, just incredibly fun to watch him. We're really watching just a star, start at this level, and I think we're going to be seeing Blake Bryant for a lot of the other years to come. But Thomas Gentry, he then comes out, follows in his, I guess we could say big brother's footsteps, and closes out game 2 in a similar fashion. I mean, we've been talking about this sophomore. His ceiling it doesn't exist.
Big dog's got to eat. Every time I see him, I call him the big dog because he has a very filled out sophomore frame, and he wants the ball in the moments. And he even told us after the game in the sound bites last night, he didn't have his A+ stuff. He struggled through it. He wasn't feeling his pitches, struggled with the off speed, but he battled through it. Ends up going all 7 anyway, still finishes with 8 strikeouts. He's a gamer. Towards the end of the game there, he got a little chippy. He struck somebody out. He let him know about it, and I like that competitiveness, and you see it on the mound from him every time. He can also swing it. He led the team with 2 hits. He's just a complete gamer, and the biggest moments weren't going to, get under his skin at all. And this is a guy, again, who's only in the 10th grade, who has 2 more years to maybe capture another state title.
Yeah, I don't think Single A is going to be able to catch a break with CCA in the next coming years. They're going to be real good still. But, I mean, we talked all this week just kind of how good the bats needed to be for CCA, and they weren't really anything special from what I can see. Again, I only know from Game Changer, but did they stick out at the plate at all?
They had their moments. They did really ultimately struggle at the plate over the last really 3 or 4 games. If you even including the last series, even though they blew those teams out, they really didn't swing it really well. So it wasn't surprising that they were still able to get the win. This is a team that's built on pitching. When you have 2 horses like that, it's hard not to win a series of 3, right? So they didn't need the bats as much, but there were some timely hits. Jackson Knight had a really big day at the plate. He's a senior that's moving on. Jonah Hall really played well. He had a couple of hits and an RBI in some big moments after struggling to put bunts down when coach really wanted him to. Blake had a couple of runs scored, so he got on base. And Thomas and Gray McLean at the top of the order always do a good job of hitting the ball hard and forcing the defense to make plays, causing some mistakes. So they did a good job overall. Probably not what Coach Corum wanted ultimately from the guys at the plate, but again, at the end of the day, still bringing home a state championship, and that's all that matters at this point.
I mean, of course. Just talk about, you got to talk to Coach Corum after the game, and we talked to him after the semis, and he was already going to be emotional with just these seniors, everything they've done with this program. What was he like after the game when they got their second back-to-back title?
Typical Coach Corum, a little emotional. knowing what this group means to him, specifically those seniors. The 6 seniors he talked about all year long, about how he's watched them grow up from little boys to young men that are now going to play college ball for the most part, for most of them are, and what they mean to him, and that the baseball is secondary to the student athlete, and continuing to preach that over at CCA and caring about these guys and loving on them like they should be. He truly is the consummate professional as a coach, really a great leader of young men, and you can see it. 3 state championships now for him since he's taken over there in the last decade, back-to-back program history, and he's doing such big things that the facilities there are improving, the community is rallying around him, the support around the school, the administration, he has all their support, and it speaks to the job that he's doing and the kind of character and the man that he is.
Yeah, I mean, he's a special coach, and again, just a special program. Well, 2 out of 3 state titles for South Georgia, not bad. Obviously, Deerfield, they gave it all they had, but you've just been incredible this weekend, Aaron. I mean, you know the drive to Statesboro like the back of your hand now. But I hear we have a special guest joining us, because you weren't up there alone.
We do have a special guest from the long way away from the islands. I have my son here with me, relief pitcher at Hawaii Pacific, and he wanted to come into the camera. So he's new to the camera game, even though he told me he was going to take my job, Blaze.
One day.
I wanted to give an opportunity to get some insight to a college baseball perspective of what he was seeing when he was watching some of these really good high school baseball teams play. And we'll just start with the game we just saw, the Valwood game, the ending there, Deerfield's amazing comeback, and then all of a sudden it's base hit Valwood, walk, bunt, base hit, they take the lead. What about that sequence stood out to you that allowed that to happen?
The sequence that stood out to me was, of course, getting the hit, but then, Valwood was really able to capitalize when, they drew that walk, and that walk was special because if that guy doesn't get on right there, he's get out, they would have forced him to really, hit and earn those runs, but meanwhile, since that didn't happen, that they were able to bunt and get the runners over with 1 out instead of, getting a hit, and then next thing you know, it's 1 out with the runner on first. You can't bunt that guy over, and if you do, it's 2 outs, and it would have just been a lot harder for them to score that run.
Talk about that walk. Asher's at the plate. It's 0-2. That sequence of pitches. You're a pitcher. You're on the mound. It's 0-2. What is your mindset there? Because he comes back, he draws a walk in there, and that was pretty much the biggest at bat. What would you have done if you're on the mound there, having a guy 0-2 and not trying to put him on base there?
I think 0-2, they got ahead with both fastballs, and then 0-2, they the pitcher kind of started getting a little too chippy, trying to paint the corners, get him in chase with fastballs. But what really stood out to me, in which if I was the pitcher and I had to go back in time and change that, is that after 0-2, he missed with the fastball up and out against a lefty, and right there, I would have used my miss and got a curveball, flip it over, and
You have a history of hitting guys, though. Would you have beamed him?
No. As a lefty, maybe it's a lefty, but it was opposite arm, opposite bat. But I would have flipped over that curveball, and then he would have saw a fastball up.
Home run just got hit behind us in the FPD game. Another one. Not the same guy, but
yeah.
Continue.
But then I think that would really froze him. He wouldn't have been able to swing since he just saw that fastball up. And then mixing up other pitches. When you see the same pitch, that bat becomes easier. I think just flashing other pitches as well. But most importantly, after getting that 0-2 miss, just pounding the zone, being consistent. It's high school baseball. The kids are good, and Valwood did swing it. But at the end of the day, you got to make them earn it. You can't just put on a tee light. Yeah.
You were talking about the free 90s, the walks, the stuff that builds up to that last moment. And it's not just one moment that loses a game. Yes, that was the winning run. But over the course of the series, it's the walks. It's the free 90s that are given up. It's the errors in the field. Ultimately, is that what cost Deerfield the win?
I do believe so. And so I think Valwood ended up with 6 walks. And then I think Deerfield ended up making 3 errors as well, if I stand corrected. Versus the opposite, Valwood walked 3 of their guys. I think they only had 1 error. But really, it's in high school baseball, the free 90s, whoever wins that battle, typically wins the game, especially, it's high school baseball. And next thing you know, then the big innings happen. And mix that in with some timely hits, big time clutch hits, and that's ball game.
When you're in it, you've had experience in these big moments in section championships out in California in high school. What are you feeling as a player, and what are you trying to do to keep the nerves from getting to you and not have the moment be too big?
I think it comes from a team chemistry standpoint, and knowing that you and your brothers have worked all year, all season for this. And I think, both teams, it was a battle. Like, Deerwood didn't end up playing their best ball, but they ended up battling and all that. And just the resilience that both teams showed. And just one team capitalized on the mistakes early, and then Deerfield was playing catch up from there on. So it just made it tough for them.
I'm going to touch really quickly on CCA before we wrap up. You got an opportunity to see a guy that's going to Clemson or maybe even Major League Baseball, and Blake Bryant. What were your impressions of him, his poise, his pitches? What did you kind of see from him?
Obviously, he's a stud. He's going to be doing great things in baseball and life, I'm sure. But his ability to just stay kind of calm. When the emotion should hit, it hits, and then he locks right back in. He's got that poise. And then his ability to mix pitches. I thought whoever was doing the pitch calling and Blake, he was executing not just the fastball, but the off speeds as well. And whoever's calling pitches, as a hitter, it kind of makes your job easier if you have that one pitch and you just sit fastball. A 94, 96 mile an hour fastball could get touched, but his ability to mix pitches to get them off balance, and then they don't know what's coming, and you got to react to 96. But then the curveball definitely made it hard on the hitters on the other team.
Well, we appreciate you breaking down the game. Since you didn't get to pitch in high school and now you're doing it in college, we appreciate all the insight. Thank you. Get off my screen. All right, Blaze, that does it from here in Statesboro. Two state championships coming back to South Georgia. We have CCA obviously getting it done in 2 against DEA, and Valwood knocking off the Deerfield Windsor Knights in 2 as well. And I'm going home. I'm done. It's hot. I'm sweating, and I'm finished.
Yeah, Aaron, get home safe. Noah, I think you got a future as an analyst. I mean, it looks bright out there, like father, like son. You boys get back safely, and like you said, we'll have more reactions tonight from our big weekend at GIAA State Championships. Have a good rest of your day, South Georgia.